Hello, Blizzard fans! This is Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another daily Blizzard upload. This is Game 2 between Snute and Daisy, and this is Deadwing LE. This is a best-of-3 series, and Snute took the first game, so if he wins this, then he goes on to the next round, and Daisy will go home. Now, at the time of this match and this series, Daisy was on Team Spider, and currently, at the time of casting, Daisy is on Team Startail, so I'm going to stop calling him Spider Daisy and just call him Daisy from now on. And he is Korean, and so I feel like that is very important to him. So, in the top left, we have the Red Zerg Liquid Snute from Team Liquid. He is from Norway. And in the bottom left, we have the Blue Protoss Daisy, Startail Daisy at this point. The same team that Life is on, my favorite Zerg player currently, and so I'm not sure if I'm going to root for the Protoss player because he is on the same team as Life, or the Zerg player because I main Zerg. But I'll try to keep it impartial and just kind of root for whoever I want inside my own head and, you know, not affect the casting at all. So here we are. We have an early scout going out for Daisy. It might be another cannon rush. That's not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. The last game, Daisy did go ahead and try Cannon Rush. It was not exactly shut down by Snute. He had a lot of trouble with it. Wasn't able to get an expansion down for a while. But then was able to take 2 gold expansions. And I think that's what propelled him to the Game 1 victory. So Daisy was not able to shut that down. And in the end, he had a Roach Hydra timing attack come at him and pretty much take him out. Some good micro from both players. But in the end, it was Snute that won it. So Extractor Trick there into Spawning Pool for our Zerg player. So I wonder if he saw that probe and said, I want to get some drones out, or some Zerglings out a little bit sooner than I did last time, just in case it is a cannon rush. I'm not going to go 15 hatch. And so he went ahead and did that. In that case, I think Daisy might have won the game of the mines here, some mine games, and convincing Snute to not take that 15 hatch and instead go with the much safer, it looks like it was about a there's an Overlord there, probably about a 14 pool or so. He is blocking the expansion though. This is very annoying for Zerg players to deal with. Daisy could even throw down in a pylon to prevent this hatchery from going down. You'll notice that Snute is trying to get that hatchery. There isn't quite enough room to do it. Daisy's doing a good job staying inside the radius of that hatchery and blocking it from happening. But the probe will die with one more hit, is forced to retreat, and Snute takes the expansion here at about 18 supply. So a little bit later than he wanted to, the probe did pay for itself there and didn't die. So well done by that probe. Good control. We do have 2 Zerglings coming up, 2 workers, and a queen being made. The Zerglings will probably just be for scouting at this point. Checking to see what he can see. There's a good wall at the frontier for Daisy though. We have a cannon up, we have a nexus, we have a gateway, and a forge. So it looks like a bit of a forge fast expand for our Protoss player. A good scout coming in from Snute, seeing exactly what's going on, seeing the timing of that gas being taken in the main. Gas timings are so important in Zerg versus Protoss. If you can see what gas geysers are taken when by your opponent, you can know if it's going to be a fast 7-gate attack, or maybe a bit more teching, or he's just going to get more macro up and hit you a little bit later. And in this game, 2 minutes can mean all the difference, especially as a Zerg player. You want to get your army up as soon as possible. Pylon going down at the potential 3rd base of Snute, but the probe gets picked off. Pylon, it looks like it's not going to complete with 2 Zerglings and a drone beating on it. The DPS is enough, and it does get cancelled in the end, and the 3rd base does go down for Snute. So again, just a good scout here from Snute, recognizing there probably aren't going to be any stalkers on the field at this point because of the early expansion and the pylon that went down, and also the cybernetics core is not even halfway finished yet. So nothing that can shoot up except for that cannon. He'll want to be careful of that. Just hovering overhead saying, what's going on here? I don't see any gas being taken. I just see some workers. I do see a zealot being made out of that gateway. And the cybernetics core is a long way out. So there's not going to be any super early shenanigans. That's why he felt safe taking his 3rd base. And over here in the main, again, he took... does he have any workers on gas at all at this point? No. He is now taking his gas, so he doesn't even have speed for his Zerglings, which is not a big deal because they are pretty much just scouting. They're chasing down this scouting probe. They don't want him to get inside and see exactly what's going on, although there's not much to see. It's really just workers, some gas, not even upgrading to a lair, obviously, because the gas has not been taken yet. And the probe says, alright, was that a bluff 3rd base, or was that an actual 3rd? And so, now that he knows the 3rd base is about finished, he can go home and say, okay, the Zerg player is not going to go ahead and 2-base us, so we can feel comfortable in macroing a little bit more, or perhaps punishing him for it, just depending on what we feel like doing as the Protoss player. So, this probe looks like he's going to die, unfortunately. One more hit, Does he survive? Oh, he makes it past Bob the Zealot. Makes it inside the base. I predicted his death, and he proved me wrong. So the Zerglings came in and did see that the Cybernetics Core is researching Warp Gate, so we might see a bit of an early attack. Protoss players who are chrono boosting that Warp Gate are usually interested in using it a little bit sooner than Protoss players who just let it finish. It is a long upgrade. I think it's like 180 seconds or something, but it does take a long time in-game to actually finish. So meanwhile, just a ton of workers going down. Finally, a Roach Warren for Snute. And just, yes, he's fully saturated, almost fully saturated at his third, but everybody else is good. He's getting speed now. So we're going to see some Roaches here to defend against whatever's coming from Daisy. A Zealot Stalker push coming in here. This Queen is desperately trying to defend, but 2 workers have died, 3 workers have died, 4 workers have died to this, 2 Queens defending. The Zealot finally goes down. The Stalker takes another pot shot, gets 5 kills off on that little poke. That's all it took, just 1 Zealot and 1 Stalker. Snute was droning really, really hard. He didn't have any Roaches yet, he didn't have any Zerglings yet. And in the end, he cost him 5 workers, which at this stage of the game can be pretty painful. He is up 52 to 42 on the Protoss. And I don't know if these Speed Zerglings... No, the Speed Zerglings will not be able to catch that Stalker, but they did see the Proxy Pylon. So they'll take that down, and any reinforcements or any attacking units for the Protoss player are going to have to be a little bit slower now. So that was a good pickup by Snute. A bunch of Roaches coming out now, moving across the field. Looks like they're going to try to put some pressure up, recognizing that a third base is down for the Protoss player. The scouting overlord is really doing his job. There are a lot of gateways down for the Protoss player. We do see, yeah, several gateways more coming up, and a Twilight Council as well. So it probably looks like a bit of a 7-gate attack. I haven't seen any higher tech being built quite yet. Anything at least the robotics bay. Photon Overcharge does go down, sniping away at these Roaches. Good force fields, keeping the Roaches away. But the Roaches might be able to... they're going to try to snipe down this pylon so the Zerglings can get in. But force fields are good. A lot of force fields here from Daisy. Just bam, 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 preventing all of these Zerg units from going anywhere they want to. The protected photon cannons are going to be really difficult to kill for these Zerglings. They're trying to get in there. They're not able to do so. And eventually Snute does retreat. He says, okay, fine. Excellent SimCity here from you, Daisy. I wasn't able to kill anything but a single pylon, and I did lose quite a few units, so that is not a good engagement, but it did get him some good scouting information. He has lost so far 31 Zerglings and 7 Roaches, and really 7 Roaches for that attack, just really not worth it. He didn't kill any workers, he wasn't able to kill any cannons. All he got again was that single pylon, and he kind of is forced to go home in shame. So he's going to go ahead and take a 4th base though. The 4th base is up. He's knocking down these destructible rocks so that reinforcements can get out here soon if needs be. Again, the scouting overlord just kind of hanging out, seeing what's going on. Meanwhile, what is Daisy interested in doing? The robotics bay is being built now, so he's going to go for some higher tech units. But he pretty much is just playing defensively. He has sentries for force fields. He has a few stalkers, 1 zealot. He is researching +1 upgrades. Again, just so good against Zerglings to have that +1 attack. They are not getting any upgrades themselves. I apologize. There is Carapace being upgrade and +1 ranged attack as well as Roach speed. So Snute, other than that 1 harassment, really hasn't been bothered too much. He's up 72 to 61 harvesters. He's got 4 bases. He's in a really strong position. Snute is just basically saying, come and get me, Daisy. I have all the economy that I need at this point. 72 harvesters is a really good place to be. This backdoor attack is now coming from Snute, though. Along, yes, this back area, just kind of checking out to see if there's anything they can see. There is no base here to attack. They have to come all the way around, and he knows there's not a base here because of the scouting Zergling. We do have a push-up with a Stalker Sentry combination, which can be really good against Roaches, just because you can zone them out using the sentries. But again, a lot of Roaches are coming down, but many Zerglings, if they get in here close, can do a lot of damage. So the Roaches don't want to engage quite yet. The Zerglings swoop right on in from behind with the unexpected flank, smashing down these Stalkers, trying to get in there and take down the sentries as well. The Roaches doing a good job microing around, trying to get to areas where they can attack. There's a circle of trust here and a circle of safety for the Protoss army, but I think in the end it's going to get knocked down. All of the Zerglings are dead, but the Roaches are very powerful. The sentries are out of force fields, but again, a big warp-in of Stalkers with the +2 attack is able to chase these Roaches all the way home. Mothership Core even up top now with 3 kills, hitting them on the way as well. So a pretty good attack. Did force Daisy to use a lot of force fields that are not going to be available for the time being. So Hydralisks are coming out now, recognizing that we're not going to see any Colossus for a while from this Protoss player if he has this many Stalkers. And so Hydralisks are popping with that range upgrade. Can they come out in time to stop these Stalkers from doing a lot of damage? And moving right on in, the Roaches are trying to attack. Good blink back by these Blink Stalkers. The wounded ones are going to the back. Hydralisks are coming in though, and these can be pretty scary for a Stalker army. Warping in more units with the Warp Prism, pulling drones off the line to attack the backside of this army. Roaches, Hydras doing a great job. Huge casualties coming from Daisy. They are forced to retreat. And we'll see if they get chased at all by Snute. Is Snute interested in actually fighting here? And yes, it looks like he is. And as I say that, he turns around. So 24 workers went down that attack, though. Most of them were here mining. A bunch were pulled off from this base to attack and just got melted by those Stalkers. Income level is now 56 to 66. The Protoss is up on 10 workers, which is not a spot you want to be in as the Zerg player. There's an observer here, just seeing exactly what's going on, what composition he needs to worry about. Warp Prism being loaded up with 4 Zealots, probably going to go up and do some harassment. I'd assume maybe in the main, maybe right here, probably in the main, just because it's the farthest distance for reinforcements to come and attack. A lot of drones coming in now to replace the ones that were lost in that attack from Snute. So both players just kind of taking a breath. Daisy taking a 4th base now. We'll see if there's a corresponding 5th base from our Zerg player Snute. There was a pause. It looks like everybody is back on now. Replays are funny about that. A quick scouting. Zergling was taken out, and the Zelnaga Watchtower is taken by this Stalker. The Warp Prism kind of pauses, not quite sure where he wants to go. Here he is. He's heading right on up with a beeline directly directed, I guess, at the main here. But Hydralisks are popping right now, so we'll have to see how much damage they can do. 2 workers go down, warping in so many more workers. A good drone pull by Snute, recognizing what's going on. And it looks like, do they want to attack what they can? Not sure that's a great choice. The Hydralisks come in and melt them all. There are 5 drone kills, but not necessarily enough to do a ton of damage. Meanwhile, there's an attack here at the front. The Zerglings don't want to melt down. They recognize the danger, taking out that probe, taking out that pylon. They don't want to attack directly, they're just doing some supporting attacks. Roaches and Hydras coming in, but it's a big Stalker force with that +2 attack and blink from Daisy, just blinking back the wounded ones. The force fields are zoning out fantastically. These Hydras up here can't attack anything at all. Just doing a good job. I think in a straight up fight, Snute would win this, but the force fields are enough to prevent the massacre of this Protoss army. Warping in more Zealots, and they get cancelled as the forward pylon gets destroyed. Zerglings chasing everybody down. A stutter step attack from Daisy, trying to prevent all of these Stalkers from dying. Blink looks like it is on cooldown for most of these. We are chasing all the way home. The Hydralisks are now at the front door. Photon Overcharge might go down. The Mothership Core is there, and instead they decide to go ahead and go for the 4th base. It looks like they'll be able to take it down, preventing those Stalkers from coming to defend by the use of these Hydras and these Roaches. And yes, they will probably be able to kill that in time. I'm not entirely sure. The Hydras are now interested in taking down. It does manage to take down a Photon Cannon. More Zealots being warped in against these Hydras. They're just not that strong, though. More and more Stalkers coming in as well, though. That's what you want at this point. Just constant pressure. We have so many, yes, back to the production. More Roaches, more Hydras coming down. Can these Zerglings with the +2 armor take down this Nexus before? No. They pull off, they lose focus of what they were doing, and they will get melted by this Protoss army. So a little bit better control from Snute. I think he might have been able to take that Nexus down, but he recognizes there are no workers there right now. It's not really doing anything for Daisy, so he just leaves it alone. We have a forward pylon set up over here by Daisy. He doesn't want to get too close because Scouting Lings can find that and pick it off. Scouting Overlord still just checking to make sure nothing untoward's happening over here. Hasn't really moved that much. We do have +2/+2 attacks for these units, these Roaches and these Hydras. Very strong. It looks like we're also putting Spore Crawlers in the mineral lines of a couple of these bases. Yes, the ones that are more able to be dropped, I suppose, so that any more Warp Prism harass will be taken down. Did not put one here in the main, though, which is interesting. It is, again, kind of a straight drop for Warp Prisms to get up there and attack your main. But here's another major engagement. I think, yes, Daisy recognizes this is not a good spot for him, throwing down warp force fields as much as he can. They get up on the high ground, though. The Hydralisks and the Roaches raining down fire upon these Stalkers. A good blink. Moving on up, we're going to zoom out a little bit. We do have a couple of Vipers here that might be able to yank, I guess, Colossus in. Is he worried about Colossus? I'm not entirely sure. Are they able to? Yes, they take down the Mothership Core. That goes down. Stalkers going down. 2 workers, 2 probes being killed. It looks like the Hydras are interested in finally finishing off this Nexus, and yes, they do very quickly. Hydras have so much DPS, it's just they're very squishy. They only have 80 hit points, which is not very much at all. Hydra's moving along to the right side and the left side, trying to snipe down what they can. Able to take down that pylon. If they can take down this 3rd base, I think this might be enough to win for Snute. So here we come. Roach is getting around to the backside. Zergling's in there attacking probes as well. 20 probe kills now. It is now 66 to 44 Harvesters. I don't know if Daisy's going to be able to clean this up at all. The Hydralisks are just doing so much damage from so far away. The Roach is tanking a lot of damage as well. They do have that extra armor and that just more hit points. Doing a good job combining these 2 units. And yes, Daisy calls the GG. Snute takes the series 2 games to none. He will move on to the next round from the quarterfinals of IEM 9 held in Taipei. And this has been Falcon Paladin. If you liked what you saw, hit that like button, hit subscribe to catch more daily Blizzard uploads. And you can also find me on Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook at /Falcon Paladin, all on all of those social networking sites. So, again, this has been Falcon Paladin, and until next time, you take care of yourself.